Okay, I'm going to talk to you now about interval training, which is sometimes referred to as HIIT training, which stands for high intensity interval training. The idea here, if you can remember that interval, if you're at the theatre, it's when there's been one section, then you stop, and then there's the next section. So the interval is the bit in the middle. For the sake of training, it's when you have a period of high intensity work, you'll then stop for a rest period, then you'll repeat another period of high intensity work. Okay, very, very similar to circuit training, and this is the thing that is taken off in sort of the fitness world at the moment. In terms of most of the stuff that you will see that is out there is really, really high intensity work, a little bit of rest, some more really, really high intensity work. The idea is for your GCSE, you'll need to know that it's usually done on a 2-to-1 ratio, which means you'll do maybe 30 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. Okay, so you'll do 2 portions longer, and then you'll have half of that time as a rest portion. The components of fitness it develops, again, because it's quite easily adaptable, which we'll come on to when we talk about the advantages, is that it can develop speed, cardiovascular endurance, muscular endurance. The reason it develops your speed is because you'll tend to do some quite hard anaerobic work, then you'll stop. During that time, your body then starts to recover. If you go back into that high intensity work again, that develops what's known as your anaerobic respiration system, which will eventually allow you to run harder for longer, which develops your speed. Okay, the people that would use it, you can argue pretty much any sports performer would use it. Most sports people we're talking about across any of the likes football, rugby, netball, basketball, hockey, they'll need to have elements of speed and they'll need to have elements of anaerobic recovery methods in their training. This is a way to do it. Sprinters would use it. This would be perfect for like Usain Bolt, because all it's going to do is allow him to work at his maximum for a longer period of time, which means that his 100 and 200 metres are going to be maximum events all the way through without tiring, possibly even pushing into the 400. Advantages, as I've said, it's really, really easy to adapt. It can be suited to any performer. You can tweak it to make it sort of develop what you want to develop from your training. It can improve both energy systems, aerobic and anaerobic. As I've said, the recovery side of it, which in turn will develop your body's tolerance to lactic acid, therefore improving cardiovascular endurance. Again, we'll go on to all of this when we talk about principles of training. Disadvantages, very, very similar to the previous one that we've just spoken about. Disadvantages are, it does require high levels of motivation, and because you are performing to your maximum, it can increase your chance of injury. Because you're sprinting a lot, stopping and then sprinting again, your body starts to recover, so therefore it can increase the chance of injury.